See, the anything which is very absurd in the beginning is a vague idea, and once you start refining it further, it's become a valuable idea. Vague to valuable is the journey, and it start everybody start with a very absurd idea, which if you talk to somebody, you say, what the hell you are talking about. But tomorrow when you go back with the success story, you said, okay, this is very valuable. Okay, so come back with your ideas for learning algorithms. We'll look at it. Yes, you were asking. No, there is no limit. In the software, the limit of any software is limited by the hardware. Okay, any software is limited by the hardware. If you have an array, I'm just giving you define a size. If you go beyond that, it cries. And why you define the size? Because it has a limitations. Okay. So as far as abstraction is concerned, we don't restrict ourselves that what should be the maximum limit, but at the same time we are also restricted by the hardware performance. So we try to overcome it with some means, but we are not infinite enough. So we are putting a limit. And she told there are certain best practices, and we have adopted certain best practices where we have fine-tuned our system to work in certain maximum limit, and this is what we say that. So we can say that number of maximum volumes or lengths will create, number of file system will support. So we have given a numbers depending on our deployment architecture. Beyond that, as I said, repeatability is very important, and that means that we have to do our qualification of our software, what we claim to be. So if I say that it is infinite size, I may not be the repeatable thing. Okay, so that's why when we claim something, we have to verify it, and then we say that these are the numbers which I have verified, and I am sure it will work with that numbers. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Let's move. Okay, so I talked about it, storage as a service. So what are the two very important things when you say something as a service? We just touched upon automation and no performance is not automation and abstraction. Okay, automation and abstractions. Okay, so if you see underneath, I have several type of system. These all maybe the EMC system. Is there a third party? We have written a third party. I have taken this slide which is EMC centric. You are free to change it, no problem, because we are open source. Open source means we are supporting all the arrays. Okay, but the idea is that you have a different type of technologies which provide storage into the different way. Okay, and then I have to create a virtualization layer above that. So we are creating a virtual storage arrays and extracting the physical arrays from there and mapping it into the virtual storage arrays, and then I create a pool, apply the policies, and then offer it as a service. As a service means people can say I need storage of 1 terabyte which has these criteria. These criteria I will. So in the storage, you said IOPS is one thing, very important part. Storage system IOPS are very important factors which basically define that when I say flash, it can support lot of IOPS. The latency to extract and put data on that storage is also very low. Okay, so that's why that storage is good. Okay, so he can say that you want to get a flash type of a storage. Okay, in a storage world there is a one more term, in the arrays, one more term, RAID, RAID. Have anybody heard about it? It's not a police raid. Very good, very good, very good. What does it do? Yeah, so very good. I think you deserve this, yeah. I mean, I am taking his credit. Oh, what is this? This is something? I want to give you chocolate. There is no chocolate. I don't know. Take this. Very good. Yes. So actually speaking, that each hard disk, if you see, it has a limitation. End of the day, it's a bus. Some bus is nothing but some sort of a wires, okay, which will do a IOPS on that. And maximum what you can do is only a small IOPS with that bus. How you can solve this issue to make a array of this? So when I will be writing data onto my disk array, I will be not writing it into 1 byte. Rather, I will be writing a big frame divided into several small frame. I am just giving you a very thing, and then distribute it over a arrays, which is called RAID arrays. Okay. And the RAID arrays, there are several flavors are available, RAID 0, RAID 1 to RAID 10, and maybe I don't know if there is more of it. So because of that, because if you see that storage is a very IO intensive process. We talked about terabyte of data moving from one place to another place. It has to be very fast. It has to be very fast. We can't work with some sort of a serial mechanism. So lot of technologies has come up into that space, but end of the day, today's storage arrays are the RAID arrays. Okay. I don't know where I jumped from. Okay. Okay, so this looks fine. So one is the automation and another is the storage as a service we offer. Okay, so I'm moving fast. We have done enough of backgrounding. Okay, so now we have come to the real puzzle. Copperhead architecture. These are the some sort of a building blocks for Copperhead. Okay, so there are few terms which I have seen. So the central block is where you can see the things. First main thing is, what is this? Hardware. So first is the controller service, then another is the DB service, and third is the coordinator service. These are the 3 key pillars of our system. So controller service is, as somebody said in the morning, Copperhead is a storage controller. So storage cloud controller we call it. So it has to be talk to the real hardware. So because storage controller has to create that abstraction layers, okay, and not sorry, it has to populate that abstraction layer. Abstraction layer we will create in our data modeling, and once we have done it, we discover these physical system first through our controller service. We then extract some of the resources, create a pool of it, and that pool is created by controller service, map it into the DB service into those artifacts. Okay, the DB service is running about Cassandra. Cassandra, anybody knows what is Cassandra? NoSQL, anybody heard? SQL, RDBMS, yes. RDBMS. So SQL, NoSQL is.
You don't have a table access because you don't know the number of columns.
No. It do have a table. I think it has a flexible schema. You can say flexible schema. Table or rows are the in RDBMS also there is no table. End of the day, you present it as a table. So it's a schema-less DB system. While and the good part is for when you want to run for a scale, okay, you need a DB which is flexible enough, which can handle the variations of data from different things, and also scale out. Okay, so that's why we have worked with the Scala. Could have also worked with the RDBMS part, but I'll talk about it why we chosen Cassandra later on. Zookeeper, anybody heard Zookeeper? Zookeeper, I know you might know. Zookeeper is some sort of a cluster management and coordination service. Okay, once you are into the distributed world, okay, the important things is how to synchronize your data as well as your state informations across the cluster or the distribution world. Zookeeper is a very key technology today. Key technology, why I am saying that, all the morning Malari was talking about Mesos and all those things. They all are the distributed systems. Now world is moving from the centralized system towards the distributed system, and that needs a some system which will do a coordination or cluster management, and Zookeeper is that technology, and we are using that to manage our cluster, and coordinating service is doing that. Now API service is the another service where, as we said, that how we interact internally as well as we expose ourselves to the external world is through a well-defined interfaces, and that's one of the key traits of any software-defined storage system. So we have created a layer called API service, where each service talk to each other through some well-defined interface. Okay, let's call it API service, and we also expose that services which are type REST to the external world. And these are the some key services. If you build any enterprise system, authorization and authentication is first thing, and then system service which manage the system. Once we have done all of it, we build certain type of applications. First is the CLI. CLI is command line interface. You open a console or just type some console. Expert do this work. I am not expert. I always use portal service because it's a UI click and play. Okay, so portal service is some sort of a rich UIs which you can just see what is happening, click some button and do some. Catalog service is some sort of our orchestration engine. Okay, and that's where when I say do a complex workflow execution which does your DR protected volume creation, which has a very complex workflow, you do it into the catalog service. And next is we also provide interfaces to talk to interface with the cloud stack. Okay, cloud stack, if we say today OpenStack is a buzzword into the cloud world. Okay, and it's a cloud stack. vCenter, basically VMware. VMware is a leading enterprise cloud stack. We integrate with them. SCVMM is a leading Azure Microsoft cloud stack, and we integrate with that. So that's the thing, and we plan to integrate with the other type of cloud stacks also. One is a cloud stack itself, and cloud stack is a cloud stack, another cloud stack, and we plan to do with that. Any questions on that? Backbenchers, front benchers.
What do you mean by system services?
So once you make a any system, first thing is if you say you have to create if you are writing a Linux system, so you have to create a services, start stop of the system. Okay, to create your some initialization of your DB. Cassandra needs some initialization. You have to do it. You have to do a backup. You have to do an archive. So these are the essential services for enterprise platform. Okay, these are not exposed to the end user, but to make a system reliable, you need all those services. Okay, so that's what is called the system services, which make your system complete, enterprise ready.
Security and all will be.
Security, we have kept it separately. That's part of the auth service. Auth service. What are the three pillars of the security? Anybody? I'll give a chocolate. Huh? Wow. CIA. Yeah. So this becomes simple. So no, I will not give. This is for a later part. CIA. Yes. And we do all of it. CIA, confidentiality, you encrypt. Integrity, you hash. And what is the third? A. Authentication. How you do it? Username, password. Right? What are the other authentication mechanisms anybody used? Card system. Very good. So guys are quite intelligent these days. Very good. Okay, good. We are moving forward fast because other guys are waiting. Okay, so I talked about it. We create an ensemble of nodes. When we deploy Copperhead, we just don't deploy it as a small system. We deploy it as a cluster. Okay, and when we deploy this cluster, the cluster is a name called ensemble. Ensemble is a set of several similar things put together is called ensemble. In Zookeeper also we do use this word, and it basically front end with something called load balancer. You know what is a load balancer? Load balancer is something, your services is behind that, and when you are accessing your service, it can be accessed by any of the participating node. Okay, that's what a load balancer do. We do here generally we do 3-5 node deployment, or we always recommend odd number of deployment. Anybody ideas? Even the EMC guys can tell me why we do that. Only odd number of nodes we will allow. We recommend. Allow is not a good word. Why? See, I talked about this Cassandra service. Cassandra service is NoSQL, as you say. Why we do? There is a CAP theorem. CAP theorem. Anybody know? RDBMS, if you have read, CAP theorem will be there. CAP is consistency, availability, and partition. So, as per the DB technologies, any DB technology, only two of these can be met, and third you have to compromise. Okay, that's what is this. In the RDBMS world, what we compromise? Partitioning. Partitioning, you can't partition your data so easily. People have come up with different type of things, but partitioning is not recommended into RDBMS world. Okay, so in Cassandra, we compromise? We compromise on consistency. Okay, so you are not happy with the word. Yes, consistency means it's possible that if you are in a cluster, somebody said that I am not agreeing with you, okay, because my data is still not updated. Okay, and in the DB world, this could be a very, very dangerous thing to say, but Cassandra works with that principle, and that's where we use this concept of what we call quorum. What do you mean by the word quorum? Quorum? You do. Have you done an election? Polling? What is a quorum in election means, or in any meeting means? It means majority. It means majority. You say the quorum is achieved, and that's what we do. We do a majority voting here. So when we do a read or write, we make sure that out of 3, what is the majority? 2. 2 say yes. Out of 5, what is the majority? 3. If it is 4, what is the majority? You don't know, means then it is confusing. Is 2 a majority or 3? That's why we recommend go for odd numbers, where we can clearly configure that you are better half. Okay. That's why we use the quorum read write technology in the Cassandra to mix, and also in Zookeeper, to say that if the majority is saying that this is what is true, we will take it as a data. That's where the Cassandra works. And now you agree that consistency is not so bad if you compromise. Okay, we move forward. Okay, so copper SD is SOA. SOA means SOA, service oriented architecture. It's again a buzzword. Okay, so in this, what we do, Copper SD is built on the SOA architecture. Everything is service, and they communicate through service each other. Okay, and we have so many services. Coordinated service, I have told you, controller service, DB service, API service, authentication service, catalog service, portal service, system service, CLI service, and third party integration. Any questions on this? We have already touched upon this, so you can ask me any questions. Okay. Okay. I'll moving forward. I think I'll not go in details in each service, but just read it. So, controller service is basically we have written, as I said, we have to write an abstraction layer. So, how we can write an abstraction, that we define certain interfaces and write a driver for that. Same way we have in this controller service, we have written the drivers. Okay. So, there are two types of drivers. One is called, we call native drivers, where we have written our own driver which is adhering to our principle, and second way we have written is a open source type of driver, where if I don't have a driver which is available with me, I can go to any third party system like OpenStack and pull the data accordingly. So, if you have your system integrated with the OpenStack, we will able to integrate it with Copperhead also. So, that is what we call it, native and indirect. So, as I said, common logic for file, snapshot, block, it means there is an abstraction layer which happens through some sort of a virtualization layer, which is a virtual storage array and virtual storage, two virtual and pool. Okay. Drivers for Fabric, actually anybody know what are the different type of networking deployment or infrastructure, means storage infrastructure looks like? SAN. What are the other tools? NAS. What is another one? That is the lowest one, and you use it every day. I heard that name. Louder. Louder. You are saying correct. NAS? DAS. DAS, na? Yes. DAS. Example of DAS? Direct attached storage. My computer is attached to my hard disk, is direct attached storage. Okay. I split it and move it out.